Please review us, rate us, give us a 5-star. Don't be a hater. Today, back on my podcast, man, episode number 223. Today, we're focusing on the great Malcom X. That's right. I did Fela Kuti, I did Tupac, and now to complete the trifecta, you know I have to talk about Malcom X, man. My show is love the podcast. The channel continues to grow, so thank everybody who continues to follow this channel, man. But yo, welcome to Sanusi Vision Not Life. The name is J.Edgar Hoover Jr. Again, please review us, rate us, give us a 5-star. Don't be a hater, man. I love what I'm doing now with this show, where I'm going with it. The channel, I'm not only doing animation now I'm doing on biographies on people that I actually admire, from civil rights leaders to creators of any kind. And then, of course, don't forget, y'all, we have the Cultural Capitalist podcast every week, me and Kimba, aka the Colonel, on Thursdays at 12 noon usually, which is 12 noon Pacific time. So y'all, thank y'all for joining me, man. Thanks for being part of the awesome stream, the awesome chat. Y'all, before we get into this podcast, I want to thank our sponsors. This Salvation podcast is brought to you by Homeland Fashions, home of authentic African fashion and accessories from the motherland. Homeland Fashions is owned and operated by Tracy Agboke, one of the best CEOs out there in the galaxy. She will be on the show with us in the near future, man, to talk about the Homeland Fashions gear, all the cool gear. And trust me, I've seen some of it. I've seen the website is under construction. It looks really cool. Looking forward to that, man. Bringing her on and having her break down exactly what Homeland Fashions does and how it adds to the African community, man. And also, too, Homeland Fashions logo. Don't want to forget that. Got to check these out right here. Look at this. HomelandFashions.com. That's right. You know what I mean? So, yo, big time things, big time everything going on over here, man. You know what I'm saying? HomelandFashions.com. That's HomelandFashions.com. And this podcast also is brought to you by Tigler. If you need executive services from plumbers to pediatricians and everything between, that's Tigler.com. Don't wait. That's Tigler.com. Don't wait. That's Tigler.com. Tigler.com, y'all. So Tigler is everything from pediatric problems. It's owned and operated by one of the best CEOs out there in the galaxy, J.Edgar Hoover. He's been on the show several times. I think it was episode number 170. We talked about Tigler. So Tigler is basically a company that's the middle person between you finding a contractor, a landscaper, anything of the professional level. You want to go through Tigler because there's the middle person. They'll vet the people that you're seeing to make sure you are getting the best of the best, the best of the best at what they do. You know what I'm saying? It's Tigler. And if you're in the East Coast section, is in the Virginia area. If you're in the West Coast section, you got them in Los Angeles, Long Beach area. So you definitely want to check that out. That's Tigler.com. Plumbers, pediatricians, landscapers, caregivers. I'm trying to think what else. Anything that's professional, Tigler.com is where it's at. That's Tigler.com. So Tigler.com. And this podcast also brought, can't forget the Tigler logo. I didn't want to forget this. I'm always forgetting this, the Tigler logo. So Tigler logo right there. Don't worry, we're going to get to talk about Malcom X pretty soon. The Tigler logo right there. The Tigler logo. And also, too, this podcast also brought to you by Anadil for the Knuckle. Don't live with foot pain. Let Anadil for the Knuckle make your feet happy again. That's AnadilCenter.com for details, y'all. That's AnadilCenter.com for details, y'all. So Anadil Center, owned and operated by one of the best CEOs out there in the galaxy, the best foot specialist in the galaxy, Dr. Nero Nsode. Right there, man. AnadilCenter.com. You know what I'm saying? AnadilCenter.com. So Dr. Nero Nsode is located in the Dallas, Texas, Frisco area. That's right. So AnadilCenter.com for details, y'all. Don't worry, I'm just introducing the sponsors, then we're gonna get to the podcast, man. And so look, AnadilCenter.com is in Dallas, Texas, and in also Frisco, Texas area. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the best CEOs out there in the galaxy. Like, I used to have foot pain, custom orthotics, right? Check these out, custom orthotics, right? So now I'm pain free. Custom orthotics, I put these on and my feet don't hurt no more. I used to have plantar fasciitis. It was crazy. Went to go see Dr. Minnesota. I'm pain free now, man. So yo, gotta be grateful for that. You know what I mean? So let me block this loser right quick, and then we can get to work, y'all. So yo, that's our sponsors right there, man. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you. I know it's late, but hey, the podcast had to be put up, man. I was not going to sleep without doing this episode. It's been like 2-week delay, really. 2-week delay. But I want to thank everybody for joining me, man. Appreciate all of y'all. So you know what I'm saying? Hey, look at that. Don't you love the block button? So let's get this loser right here too. So now look, let's get into this podcast, man. This episode is brought to you by all these. We've got our sponsors out the way. Now look, let's get to the episode, man. The things that I want to talk about today, Malcom X. You know what I'm saying? This guy is incredible. He's an incredible human being. He's an incredible character. He's an incredible incredible man. I mean, the things that I want to focus on today, and I'm actually going to write them down, because it's kind of similar to the other two guys that I talked before him, Fela Kuti Tupac. Those were the guys before him that I did it. So now he's the third of that trifecta. So I want to finish off with Malcolm. So the things I'm going to focus on is him, his origins, him being a revolutionary, him being a futurist. That's probably one of the things that people never talk about, how he was a futurist, because he always thought about the future and what it needed to be and where he wanted it to go. I think he's the people's champ personally. It's very simple. I mean, I don't really give me a second, y'all. I'm taking some notes because it's gonna be breakdown. Mind right, and then final thoughts. Some of y'all think if you write whatever, I'm gonna listen. Hey, Juan, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Hello, how you doing? Junk Jerk. I think I'm reading these names weird, but forgive me. But yeah, man, welcome to the chat, y'all. Another awesome episode of Sanusi Vision podcast. I haven't been on for about 2 weeks, man. I've been busy, man. Now, before I get going, I will talk about it, but the first official Carjacks for Assassins comic book is out now on my website at sanusivision.com, so y'all can visit. I'm gonna copy that link into the chat so y'all can check it out, man. The amazing comic book is out now. I've sold quite a bit. That's why I'm not afraid to go night podcasting now, because I can go anytime, man, and I'll get the streams I need to see. I'll get the views I need to get. So thank everybody for joining me tonight. Now look, let's get to this amazing episode. Let me put in this link for Malcom X. Y'all can check out my comic available now. If you're fans of comics, it's there right there, man. So appreciate you, Juan, joining me, man. Thank you so much for joining me. Now look, all of y'all, let's get to it. So origins for Malcom X, man. I'm a big Malcom X fan, and I'm not interested in, one thing I've loved about Malcom X is origin. Let's get into it, and then I'll break down what I was thinking about. Malcom X was born Malcolm Little, of course, but later on became El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, as we all know him as Malcom X. As far as I'm concerned, he's the greatest civil rights activist that ever lived. Better than Martin Luther King, better than Gandhi, better than all of them. And I'm not even a big Gandhi fan like that, because I'm gonna waste my time on Gandhi, but he was a racist in his time. He said a lot of messed up stuff about Africans. I cannot even waste my time talking about that, man. I'm not a big fan of his, but Malcom X for me, I take him over Martin Luther King, take him over Medgar Evers, take him over Carly Stonemichael. I mean, that's just a list of people. I'm just not taking nobody over Malcolm, man. He's the X factor, literally the X factor. So he was born May 19th, 1925. He died February 21st, 1965. Probably the saddest day in human history right there, 1965. February 1st, 1965, when he was in that ballroom giving a speech about bettering our lives, and the only thing the Nation of Islam could do was put bullets in them. It was pretty messed up. As far as I'm concerned, he was an African American revolutionary, a nationalist at that. Of course, we all know his story. I don't even want to waste my time with that, because I feel like me talking about that is redundant, man. The man was so, we forget that he actually went to jail and all that bullshit. What I love most about Malcolm is very few human beings that had that full 360 transformation. That's his origins. Like, he started off with the Nation of Islam, of course, which he joined in 1955, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I even read this book, the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. That's the greatest book I've ever read in my life. It's not even close. And I've read a lot of books, and I read a lot, but that book by far is the best one I've ever read in my life. It's not even close, man. This dude, yeah, we're gonna have to keep this Jesus talking person. Keep that to yourself, man. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X was like a, man, I see Malcolm X like I felt like he was a guardian angel. You know what I'm saying? When I talk about his origins, he grew up in Detroit. He grew up, man, his family, his father was a preacher. So he already had a male role model figure that was strong, ambient, caring, showed him the way of how you can become a man without being docile to anybody. So he went to, he did 8 to 10 years in prison from 1946 for larceny and all this other BS. But by 1952, he was paroled. And at that junction, he joined the Nation of Islam. And all of a sudden, you get to see how intellectually brilliant he was. I mean, Malcolm X is what made me realize that going to school was overrated. Because if a person can be that damn smart without going to school, why the hell do I need to go to school for? So I can go owe money? Nah, I'm good on that, man. And so Malcolm X is really what I realized that when I watched the movie. Of course, Malcolm X died in 1965. I wasn't nowhere close to being born then. But to actually feel like that this actually was a human being, that was actually a living human being, is incredible. Malcolm X is one of those few people that he never apologized for what he said, because he didn't have to apologize, because what he said was actually the truth. You know what I'm saying? So he was born in Omaha, Nebraska. I didn't want to forget that, which is weird, which is the oddest place for somebody of all of that greatness to be born in. Omaha, Nebraska. You're like, nobody would ever believe that he was actually born in Omaha, Nebraska if you actually looked it up. You're like, holy crap, Malcolm X came from Omaha, Nebraska, but he had a strong father. And you have to understand his father was a preacher man who was very well respected within the African American community in the Nebraska area right there. So he came out of the Cornhusker area, whatever you want to call it, and he gets himself out of jail in 1952. He revitalized his life. I call it revitalizing his life, because that's literally what he did. There's very few that did what it. And Malcolm X is also the reason why they probably don't allow a lot of people that go to jail to read books anymore, because they don't want you coming out like him, actually being intellectual, brilliant, realizing your fullest potential. You know what I'm saying? Like with Malcolm, I don't really have to go through any books. I can freestyle this thing all day long. This guy is, man, there's three dudes that are really important to me in terms of historical figures that I feel like civil rights fighters. Malcolm, Fela Kuti, and Tupac Shakur. Those are my three favorites. Thank you all for joining me, man. Welcome to the chat, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Sanusi Vision on Life, episode number 223. Yeah, Traore is bringing the whole thing together. I got to tell you, man. Yeah, Traore is doing the damn thing. He's my favorite. He's now my favorite civil rights fighter. Blue Butterflies. Good to see y'all. Welcome to the chat. I'm surprised y'all are still awake at this time of night. But yeah, man, Traore is handling business, man. Handling business. Him, Gayota, and Ticheni. So Traore for Burkina Faso, Ticheni for Niger, and then of course Mali for Gayota for Mali. You know what I mean? Welcome to the chat. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing, man? Glad to see y'all awake at this time of night. Good to see y'all. Welcome to the Sanusi Vision Podcast episode number 223. The great Malcolm X is the topic today. So y'all, like I say, the great Malcolm X is the topic today. So now what happens is, that's Malcolm X. I want to keep it Malcolm X's origins real simple, because then I can just dive into who he was, who he finished off as. You know what I'm saying? So, and once he came out of jail, joined forces with Nation of Islam. By the 1960s, Malcolm was grown so big, his file that the CIA and the FBI had on was just as big as the one they had on Elijah Muhammad. And so at that time, of course, the two competing people that you always think of is Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But I've always felt like Malcolm X was more of an unapologetic figure. His existence as passed through time, I feel like it survived time better than Martin Luther King's, because nobody ever talks about Martin Luther King anymore. Not like that. If we are in this era today, who do you think they're gonna actually want to stand in front of them and speak? You're gonna take Malcolm X. And look, for all you don't know, I remember I told you my name is Adewale. Well, Malcolm X's name was Omowale, which means child come home. Mine means prince come home. Malcolm X, the son who has come back home. That's what it means. But Omowale, I'm Nigerian, so Omowale means child come home. That's what that means. Malcolm X was beloved across the continent of Africa, beloved across the continent of, and it's a shame that the way he died was through the hands of Nation of Islam, another group of black people killing him. And that's the thing that infuriates me. All our heroes, Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Carly Stonemark, what's his name? The Black Panther, Huey Newton. Dude, there's always somebody within the old complex that kills him. But it's not okay. It's just infuriating, man, to be self-debilitating yourself. And so we have a hero like this, Malcolm X. I think I'm going to lead to the next part, the revolutionary. His origin is one who has a child who lost everything. He lost his mother. He lost his father, was murdered. They literally put his father on a train track and let the train run over him. Then his mother, they let her go insane so they could send her to an asylum so they could take the kids from her. And that's always been the problem with my American system. They are always finding a way to deject and destroy the African American family. Don't be giving our kids to adoption families, foster homes. We can take our own kids. Just stay the hell out of our neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Malcolm X grew up on. But to have transformed his life when he came out of jail, like most of us don't even remember that he went to jail. All we know is that this dude, and this is another thing people forget, Malcolm X was only 37 when he died. I believe he was 37. Yes, he looked older, but man, them years, life put some years on Malcolm. You know what I'm saying? So he was 37 when he died. Sorry, y'all, I'm not seeing the yeah, so you know when he good name. Yeah, good, that's a good Nigerian name. Great. Thank everybody for joining me. Thank you for joining the chat. Please, all of y'all, if you haven't hit the like, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification button. And yes, Traore is the man. That's right. He's leading African. I call him Captain Africa. I've done that episode, y'all. Episode number what were we at? 225? I think it's 219 maybe. Let me see. Give me a second, y'all. This episode of Ibrahim Traore. Yep, episode number 216. Episode number 216. Ibrahim Traore. So anybody who wants to check out that episode, feel free to check it out on my podcast, man. So yo, that's Malcolm X's origins, man. Now, next up is him being a revolutionary. And his origin, if I sit here, I keep telling the story about his origins for the rest of my life. I can always back and forth pan it as I go, but to me, that's what made Malcolm X different from all the other civil rights leaders. They just didn't have his charisma, his swagger, his intellect, and blunt, unapologetic intellect. He just didn't apologize. Malcolm X can conversate with you on any topic. It just so happens that he was just one for freedom, for fighting for freedom. So now, let's talk about him as a revolutionary. Without question, I've said this before, and I'm always going to say it. He's the greatest civil rights activist of all time. Nobody can touch him. I don't care. Malcolm X is more useful today than any other liberal rights leader you can think of. He's more useful than Gandhi. He's more useful than Martin Luther King. And I'm not a big Gandhi fan. I really don't care for Gandhi. He was a racist piece of trash. Most people don't know that about Gandhi. I'm Nigerian. You know how much insults he threw at Africans while he was alive? Meanwhile, this piece of shit was in Africa studying law. So a lot of people don't, the way I speak about Gandhi, most people haven't heard that before. Trust me, if you know the history of Gandhi for real, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I'm not apologizing about that. Anybody don't like that line, that's your problem. But he was not who he thought he was. You see what I'm saying? And so Malcolm X was a revolutionary. Let's be clear about what he wanted. Black nationalism, to own ourselves. He wasn't against being unified with whites or anything like that. He was more like, look, we need to own our own businesses. We need to have economic empowerment. We need to have sovereign power. Like John Henry Clark said, black beauty without black power is useless. And that's what Malcolm X was talking about. Completing that black power side. We need to have our own economy, our own cities, our own neighborhoods, control everything that goes in there, from the businesses to education, all that stuff. And that's what he meant by his nationalism. And then all of a sudden, the media, as they like to spin everything, let's toxify. And so the media, it's ironic that the media today now all of a sudden is okay to say by any means necessary. Well, every time y'all say that, make sure Malcolm X is getting $1. Getting that what's that residual, as I like to call it. If you're gonna say something, then pay the person who coined it. You see, Malcolm X was unapologetic. Like when he came out of jail, and he joined forces with National Islam, he was a Pan-Africanist, he was Islamist, and he was a black nationalist. Make no mistake about that. He made no apologies about that. That's probably what I loved most about him. He was unapologetically, black. Unapologetically an African American man. He made no bones about that. I mean, Malcolm X was like 6'4". So you can imagine a 6'4" man, as intimidating, as intellectual as he was. You know what I'm saying? He just terrified the American government, the FBI, the CIA. They were finding different ways of how they were going to take him out without them doing it. And they sure did. They got Nation of Islam to do it. He was a revolutionary. He spoke on, and it wasn't, when you say revolution, I think that word needs to be cleared up, because it's not about just picking up guns and going around shooting people. No, it's about self-defense. It's about self-intellectual. It's about being prideful. It's about restoring your dignity as a human being, as a man. It's about the structure and the infrastructure of family. It's about keeping family together. These were all the things that the media never bothered to talk about. But these are all the things. Malcolm X even had lectures on fatherhood. Like, explained to a lot of brothers. If you notice something, during the era probably from 1950 till 1980, the African American household was so well kept together. It wasn't until the 1980s when Reaganomics came around with punk ass Ronald Reagan that he started finding ways to destroy the African American family. I can't stand that guy either, man. Yeah, I'm not sure who we're talking about living a long life. Sorry, I missed that. Who we talking about here? But Malcolm X main thing was revolutionary in that way. I think that revolutionary people totally misunderstood it. You have to have a point where you're explaining. And one thing I loved about Malcolm, he explained what he was doing. Very passionate. Made people to understand it. If you want to call it, he actually spoke English in ways where those who couldn't comprehend were able to comprehend. Even to today, man, like you can't, like his words are still today. Like he used to say, education is the passport to those who want to have a future. And he wasn't talking about school education. He was talking about life education. And once I realized that, I started to have more success in life. Like I said, Malcolm X is the one who inspired me to be like, yeah, forget school, man. I'm good on that school crap. You know, because the only two school, no matter how much of a degree I got, my degree is still not equivalent to a white boy with a high school diploma. And I explain that to a lot of brothers, but they don't understand that. And it hurts their feelings when you tell them, well, you got a master's degree, you got this degree, but you're still not able to get a job. You're not able to get a job because the guy needs to hire you, don't look nothing like you. Now you got two choices to do about that. You can either start your own business, or you can work within the American corporate structure and go through exactly what Malcolm X was talking about. Now you can also too work within the American structure, corporate structure, start your own thing. So for me, revolutionary was Malcolm, and and Malcolm X has spawned so many different individuals: Fela Kuti, Tupac, Bob Marley, Carly Stomichael. I mean, dude, that list. No, excuse me, not Carly Stomichael. The Black Panthers. Even the Black Lives Matter movement before it got intoxified. You know what I'm saying? Infiltration. I'm trying to think who else, man. But Malcolm X was a revolutionary. His words, I personally feel like his words should be like yeah, I don't know who you are, but I don't care who you are. You can get off my platform. Idiot asking me if I'm Wakanda. What a dumbass. You're a moron. Lucky for me, I can cuss on YouTube. That's why I love YouTube. I ain't gonna lie. I can cuss. I can just let it ride. And I do love letting it just go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna block him though. I don't feel like cussing nobody out. I'm enjoying this Malcolm X episode too much. You know what I'm saying? But that's what made him a revolutionary. Mental revolutionary, physical revolutionary, caring for our neighborhoods, having pride in our neighborhoods, not waiting on somebody to do something for us, but taking action within ourselves to do that for ourselves. And for all of y'all, again, welcome to the chat, y'all. Thank y'all. Welcome to another awesome episode of Sanusi Vision Not Life, episode number 223, the great Malcolm X, the X Factor. And look, while I'm at it to y'all, I didn't want to forget, make sure y'all get a copy of my first official Carjack Assassin comic book that's coming out. That's out now on sanusivision.com. I'm copying the link into the chat for all y'all want to check it out. Trust me, the book is a big time. Oh, it's a game changer, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Created independently by yours truly, funded by yours and truly. I created it. I put it down. I laid it down. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, thank y'all for that, man. So look, so that's what makes Malcolm X a revolutionary, man. This guy, like I wouldn't take not one single person over him. Not one. Not Kwame Nkrumah, not Thomas Sankara, not Samora Michelle. I mean, I love a lot of African revolutionaries. I'm Nigerian, so all I do all day long is read about them. This guy was that dude. You know what I'm saying? And so he had a fearlessness about him that made his mental capacity, I don't want to call it, because he had to be the way he is, you have to have a mental revolution. His mental revolution wasn't just one of, I'm just going to be angry. No, it was one of, this is what I need to do. This is what we need to do. And then he was a very structured individual. So he always made plans for like, okay, this is, when he goes to give these lectures, he would have these plans. And I've watched a lot of videos on him, like the way he gives lectures, it's just incredible. Like I would love to see him in today's time, go be at a university and give a speech. It'd be nuts up in there, man. I mean, you probably couldn't fit 200,000 people up in one auditorium. You probably need 10 schools just to get all people that want to see him talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then the galvanization of the way he was able to galvanize people towards his words, without TikTok, without Instagram, without all this stuff. I mean, look, the people from the 60s, man, my respect for them is on another level, man, because them cats, man, they did something special, man. Them dudes laid it down. You ain't having people that, they had no social media, no none of that, and yet they was able to create and transform America by words, action, and movement, man. That's what made Malcolm X a great revolutionary. Words, action, and movement, man. You know what I'm saying? He felt like, okay, us and the Nation of Islam ain't going, let me get up out of here. And plus, they was jealous too anyway. I think, honestly, I've said this a bunch of times. I think Elijah Muhammad was jealous of him. And his children too. So they probably poisoned Elijah Muhammad's mind and then pit them against each other. And then they had different agendas, man. I'm not a big Nation of Islam fan guy. I'm not interested in that. They don't do nothing for me. Because you can tell by when Malcolm X died, there's an animosity that a lot of people in the African American community still have towards the Nation of Islam. You took Malcolm X, the prince of African Americans, the king of African Americans. That's how I've always seen him. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. That's what I was talking about. You keep killing your own heroes. That's a twisted way to live, man. But that's what made Malcolm X a revolutionary, man. Now, next up, and also too, him being a revolutionary, he wasn't afraid to tell African Americans you could live without white people. And you should be able to do that. Your own communities, your own banking system, your own businesses, which they have. Why do you think that Kansas City, Black Wall Street got burnt to the ground? Because all the stuff Malcolm X was saying in the 60s actually came to fruition. And then when they actually built such communities, they tore it down. Cowards. I think I don't know whether I'm getting a lot of views because I put the title Malcolm X or because I'm just talking awesome. I probably think it's a bit of both. You know what I'm saying? Because even till today, that name still puts fear in a lot of white people. Boy, they want to shit pants when they hear that name, or when they hear that somebody actually wants to be like that guy. This guy spawned so many people. Even when you hear music, musical lyrics, guys like Tupac Shakur, guys like Fela Kuti, primarily those two, Bob Marley. Where do you think they got their ideas from being revolutionary? Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Even me, creating my whole cartoon universe where I just want to draw Africans that look like me. That's Malcolm X. You see what I'm saying? If you are anything that's unapologetic towards toward the settled structure, you got the Malcolm X in you. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Sankara, Ibrahim Traore, Gayota, Ticheni, you know what I'm saying? The list is endless, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just even Winnie Mandela, excuse me. All these people are disciples of Malcolm X. All of them. You know what I'm saying? And Malcolm X himself is a disciple of Marcus Garvey. Because Marcus Garvey is the one that got this whole Pan-Africanism thing cracking from jump. So, you know, you have to just kind of see this thing like, this guy's not just a normal revolutionary. His words, and man, he intimidated the shit out of the U.S. government, boy. They were shitting bricks every time he spoke. They did not want that man talking. So that's why I feel like till today, they took him out first and then they went after Martin Luther King. I guess they were okay with Martin Luther King living as long as he wasn't talking about economic independence. The minute Martin Luther King started talking about economic independence, they took him out. Malcolm X from jump was talking about economic independence. It's like I always say, right? The U.S. accounts for is always bragging about 27 trillion, right? Well, guess what? African Americans compensate in that 27 trillion for 4 trillion. Now you take away that 4 trillion, what's left? 23. All right. So now when you keep cutting the numbers from different communities, guess what? Now you and China on the same par. What you gonna do now? And so that's why it's funny. You don't want African Americans to stay in America, but you don't want them to leave either. Oh, that's right, because you don't want to lose the money. Well, you're gonna lose the money. Because one way or another, a lot of African Americans are tired of this country, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made Malcolm X a revolution. And these are the things that, it's funny that the things that Malcolm X was talking about is actually what's happening today. Moving, finding somewhere else to be. It's a combination of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X talking about moving, going into your own land, build our own land, give our own section, let us have our own space. And we can then figure out what we can do for ourselves. And that's a beautiful thing, man. That's what made Malcolm X a revolutionary. Now let's talk about the futurists. Malcolm X always felt like in order for African Americans to succeed, and look, for all you don't know what Malcolm X is, which would make me laugh, I'm going to get a picture. This is a beautiful picture. Give me a second. I'm going to flip the camera real quick. I can't believe I haven't shown this picture of him, but that's the great Malcolm X right there. Man, that guy was that dude. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you videos. Oh, don't worry, we're going to get to the videos. There's a video that I love watching, and I'm going to bring it up because I love watching it literally every single Monday. So every single Monday, I literally love watching the video. And thank everybody for joining me tonight, man. Welcome to the Sanusi Vision Art Life podcast, episode number 223. Today, we're talking about the great Malcolm X. Malcolm X, the X Factor. That's what I always call him, the X Factor. The greatest civil rights activist of all time. So now, look. Him being a futurist. Malcolm X was a futurist, like in terms of like he always said we should plan for those who plan for today. Wait, hold on, y'all. Let me find y'all the thing. There's a line that he has. I want to read this correctly. I don't want to just read it and say it all kinds of sideways. Give me a second, y'all. There's something he always says. Damn, where's this line? I'm gonna mess around and go get my glasses. There's a line he always says: "Those who plan for the future plan to be successful." Let me see. No, not okay. Afro American. There we go. All right, there we go. Okay, y'all. Let me read it to y'all. Education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare today. I'm gonna say that again, y'all. Education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for it today. Education is our passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. You see what I'm saying? Look at this. Let me show y'all this right here. Look at this. That's it right there. Y'all see it? You see it? That's what's up. That's the great Malcolm X right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he did right there. That was what made him super awesome. He always thought of the future. How can we get the kids to be prepared? Look at this one right here. This is another one. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got endless lines of these right here, man. You know what I'm saying? Give me a second, y'all. Watch this. Look at this. Whenever a black man cares for his people, empowering them and preaching truth, they will always focus on his mistakes, his flaws, and his contradictions. They want to illegitimize his message, stop his progress, and hope for the hope for the people. Well, you can't stop that no more, because nobody's trying to hear that crap anymore. And that Pan-Africanism that we're talking about is what's growing through Africa right now. It's going down, yo. I'm Nigerian. I gotta tell you, for once in my life, I'm very proud to be I've always been proud, but now I'm super proud. Now look, let me play this Malcom X video for y'all, because this is all part of being a futurist, preparing for the future, understanding the future. Why should we have a future? Building things to our own infrastructure, having our own land, having our own communities, having our own properties. These are the things that he talked about. And look, that's awesome that some people are joining me, man. I appreciate all of y'all. But that's what made Malcom X a futurist. This guy was unapologetic about what he said. Look, let me play this video for y'all, man. Give me a second, y'all. Oh yeah, I gotta play this video. Y'all give me a second. Yeah, here we go. Watch this, y'all. Futurist. Give me a second. Let me pause this quick. Oh man, hold on. Hold on. This is what made Malcom X a futurist. Let me actually, yep. Give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna get this thing right. I'm gonna max out the volume, because I can't connect it the other way because I don't want to lose it. So y'all, give me a second. Watch this. Here we go, baby.
Man should have a hand in controlling the economy of the so-called Negro community. He should be developing the type of knowledge that will enable him to own and operate the businesses and thereby be able to create employment for his own people, for his own family. Just like the civil rights movement.
So that's one video. Oh, wait till I show you another one. Oh, this one made Malcom X a futurist. Now this is one of my favorites right here. Well, I'm gonna save that one for last. But this one is one of my favorites right here. Let me get this. Let me play this right here real quick. Yeah, I love this one right here. This is what made him a futurist.
When you live in a poor neighborhood, you're living in an area where you have to have poor schools. When you have poor schools, you have poor teachers. When you have poor teachers, you get a...
Let me start it from jump again.
When you live in a poor neighborhood, you're living in an area where you have to have poor schools. When you have poor schools, you have poor teachers. When you have poor teachers, you get a poor education. Poor education, you can only work on a poor-paying job. And those poor-paying jobs enable you to live again in a poor neighborhood. So it's a very vicious cycle.
Yeah, you see that? Y'all see that right there? That's what made Malcom X great. That is a futurist right there. Everything he's saying right now is happening today. Literally, everything he's saying right now. That's what made him a futurist. Like, and then which is going to segment me into his leadership. What made him a great leader? And I'm going to tell you why he's the greatest. He's the greatest of all time. Martin Luther King and him are not in the same sphere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hear it. For those it's always these church idiots that are always coming up with this church shit. Like, yo, I don't want to hear about your church bullshit. Malcom X is more effective today, and he's even more effective then. Malcom X was more effective then, and he's even more effective today. If you put them both in the same timeline, Malcom X will beat him every time. There's no, I love Martin Luther King, but I don't. He's not equal to Malcom X. Not the impact, because if he was, they would have taken him out first. You get the sword out of the way, and then maybe you want to deal with the shield later. That was what Malcom X was. He was the sword. Everybody knew that shit, and one thing I did enjoy was the fact that him and Martin Luther King did meet one day, and Malcom X was supposed to unify the North, and Malcolm was supposed to and Martin Luther King was supposed to unify the South. That's why J.Edgar Hoover had Malcom X killed. Let's put an end to it. He spent 15 years trying to keep these fools apart, and after a while, they got together eventually. They spoke, and then they made this plan. Everybody knows that. Well, not everybody, because I don't want to make people seem like they're as educated as I think they are, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are just buffoons in terms of like understanding the how do you say the ways like which things worked. They never wanted Martin Luther King and Malcom X to join forces. That was not supposed to happen. They were not even supposed to come close to being around each other. They spent the entire time making sure them fools were never united. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, thank everybody for joining me on the chat, man. Thanks for joining. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, and please hit the notification button. And yes, welcome to another episode of Sanusi Vision Podcast, episode number 223, Malcom X, the X Factor. That's what he is to me. He's what decides who wins, who doesn't win. That's how I always felt. Me being able to do this episode is the reason because of Malcom X. Me being able to have my own art, being independent, not wanting to work for anybody, is Malcom X. Me being able to say, you know what, I'm going to have the courage to go try GoFundMe to get funding for my dream, Malcom X. He always made you think like outside the box and not think within the box that's been given to you, but within the box that's been, you can make for yourself, if that makes any sense. I mean, Malcom X is just incredible. That's what made him a futurist. He planned for the future. He always was like, what can I do to make sure that the kids have a brighter future? A lot of leaders aren't doing that today, man. What they're trying to do is figure out how they're going to get in your pockets, especially these punk-ass bitch churches. I can't stand them. All they do is have sermons on Sundays, 5 services. Meanwhile, the people that are donating money to your church ain't got no money. They can barely pay their light bill. You know what I'm saying? It's just, people have to understand what it is that you're giving and taking when you're dealing with these organizations. And I think when he had that organization of his, Afro American Unity, anybody that was African American could join it. All that mattered was that you were black. That's all that mattered to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then his transformation from him being what he was when he was Nation of Islam to what he became when he went off on his own, totally 2 different dudes. It's like he had 3 segments of life. The first one before he went to jail, the one while he was in jail, no, 4, I take that back. 4. One before he went to jail, one while he was in jail, one when he joined the Nation of Islam, and then one when he became by himself, solo. Man, he was just different level, evolution after evolution after evolution. It's like, I can only think he's like a boxer that fought in 4 different divisions. That's literally what Malcom X was. Then he finally made it to the heavyweight division when he finally went off on his own. And probably was the best thing that could ever happen. I wish he had went off on his own earlier. You know what I'm saying? Because then he would have built even more of a loyal following. But I think for a lot of African American leaders, man, it's always sad to say this, but the ones you cannot trust are the ones in your own community. That's the unfortunate part right there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made Malcom X a futurist. Now, let's get to the part about him being a leader. Man, to me, a leader is a person who's willing to educate me on things that will make my life better, right? Malcom X always spoke about each individual understanding what is their part in the revolution. As he always says, every brother is a blood brother. And you know, coming from Harlem, or basing his base in Harlem, right there was the epicenter of African American culture, African American beauty, African American unity, African American power. And there's one thing I've always been scared of, which is something I'm seeing today. Harlem is not the same as when in the 60s. 40% of your neighboring people that live there are white people. How long do you think before it becomes 60% white people and then 40% blacks? And how long do you think before they appropriate the community, appropriate the culture? That's what they do best. And that's what I'm scared. I remember I was speaking to some brothers from Harlem. I said, please, do not let these motherfuckers take over your city, take over your area, take over Harlem. Please don't. You're the last stronghold in America in terms of African American culture. We got to think about this, right? You got Hansberry and Lorraine. You got all these different people. I'm doing great, man. Doing great, Juan. Doing great. Doing my awesome podcast. And the show is doing great. The channel continues to grow. The comic book is out, man. College of Stats and Training is doing great. So, you know, I'm in school too, so I'm a busy man, dude. Busy, and busy as I don't know what. But yeah, Malcom X, man. The leader, the fortitude, the intelligence, the charisma, the understanding, the love that he showed to his people, unquestioned loyalty towards the African American struggle. Malcom X is just hands down. How ironic it is that of all the 3 that I did Fela Kuti, I did Pac, and now I'm doing Malcom X. Malcom X got the most views right now, man. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I was thinking I might be late tonight doing this podcast, but apparently y'all don't care. People are still here watching, man. Yeah, appreciate you, Juan. Appreciate you, Juan. Yeah, Nigeria, Mexico, man. We do what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? Freedom, baby. No apologizing for nothing. You feel me? We gotta do this doggone thing. So y'all, Malcom X, that's what makes him a leader, man. He's a great intellect. And look, let me show y'all some videos because I want y'all to see these videos right here. God, I love Malcom X, man. Y'all don't understand. Let me start off with this one right here. This one is one of my favorites right here. Give me a second real quick. I'm gonna pop this. Because I'm gonna do it from when he began to like kind of like where he was after he went to Mecca. And it takes a leader to evolve themselves. So y'all give me a second. Let me break this video down.
I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who really have the interest of blacks at heart, let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes. Well,
That's one right there. Now I need y'all to see this one. Oh, this one is one of my favorites right here. I love this one.
American problem or a Negro problem. And as a human problem or a world problem, we feel that it should be taken out of the jurisdiction of the United States government and the United States courts and taken into the United Nations in the same manner that the problems of the black man in South Africa, Angola, and other parts of the world, and even the way they're trying to bring the problems of the Jews in Russia into the United Nations because of violation of human rights. We believe that our problem is one not a violation of civil rights, but a violation of human rights. Not only are we denied the right to be a citizen in the United States, we're denied the right to be a human being.
Right there. Right there. Right there. You see that? Right there. Not only we denied the right to be a citizenship, but we denied the right to be a human being. You know, also too, one of the things that people don't say this too. You know the reason why the FBI, CIA took him out too was because he was going to take America to the international court. You know what I'm saying? Just like how the Jews, the white Jews, took Germany to international court. He was going to take him there. They're like, oh no, we can't let him get to international court. They didn't want him to besmirch America's propaganda, false names. And nobody runs propaganda better than America, boy. The American dream is propaganda. America itself is propaganda. Selling false commercials. Meanwhile, you got people over here dying in gutters. People getting towed away like they were luggage. ICE rolling up on people in different neighborhoods, on the buses, at work, wherever you might be. Yeah, he had a lot of knowledge, man, and that's what they feared most. Malcolm X's knowledge. That's why they took him out before Martin Luther King. A lot of people don't want to admit that, but you're gonna have to admit that. That's just a fact. He was more of a declaring threat than anybody else. I mean, no, Malcolm X could stand in the I remember this one scene where one brother got beat up, right? And this is what made him a leader. And also to the People's Champ, because I think him being a leader and People's Champ are two of the same thing, but I know I'm talking about them in two different topics. I remember Malcolm X walks a group of men from the Nation of Islam to the hospital where that brother was being kept, or I don't want to call it looked after. I'm gonna call it being kept. Malcolm X gets there and tells the police, the doctor is like, I want to see this, I want to see him, and they try to tell him no. He said, well, if you don't let him see him, you see all this angry mob right here, I'm gonna let them go ahead and do what they got to do. So they let him in, and then when he comes out of the hospital after seeing the atrocity to which it happened to that brother. If you've ever seen the Malcolm X movie, the one by Spike Lee, please go see it. Oh my God. With Denzel Washington, that movie is so sick. You know what I'm saying? So he gets out of there, he comes out, and then the police chief is like, Malcolm X is like, he's got the soldiers marching, and then he just points like this. And all the soldiers make a U-turn and go that way. Yeah, it's a great film, Juan, you know what's up. It's a great film. He makes a turn. Next thing you know, everybody's walking away, and then that white guy goes, that's too much power for one person to have. He didn't say too much power for one Negro to have, too much power for one N-word to have. He said that's too much power for one man to have. That was the difference, honestly, between Malcolm and Martin Luther King. I've always said it. There was just, like, think about all the people that came after. Fela Kuti, Tupac, Bob Marley. I mean, even James Brown was revolutionary with his music. They are all Malcolm X fans. Because he said Malcolm X said what people were thinking. It's kind of like me. I had a lot of people on my TikTok or my YouTube channel always tell me, man, you say exactly what I'm thinking. I just wish I had your courage to say it. Look, courage, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thank you so much. I won. That's a great one. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell. You know what I'm saying? Those are all cats that came after Malcolm X. Where you think they got their studies from? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like a coaching tree. Malcolm X coaching tree is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's really, even, you know, Logic the rapper? Yeah, I like Logic. Logic is one of my favorite. Even though Muhammad Ali was a contemporary, but Muhammad Ali studied under Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you saw somebody was being that bold, you gonna feel like you need to be that bold. Why do you think Tupac or Fela Kuti or Samuel Motore or Samora Michelle or all these different greats were so bold? They're like, well, if Malcolm X can do it, I can do it too. You know what I'm saying? Even me, like, I don't have no fear of getting fired from work. I've already been homeless twice, so it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't let nobody, you're not gonna scare me that way. And then I always take help from people that actually want to help me. You know, somebody was telling me the other day, man, hey, Adewale, man, you should look into GoFundMe. I said, what the hell is a GoFundMe? I didn't know what the hell that crap was, man. So this evening while I was at work, I said, you know what? Let me have a look at this GoFundMe. Maybe this can actually help my artistic dreams. So I fill out the form. The best thing that happens, people donate money to my GoFundMe. The worst thing that happens, nobody will donate money to me. That's still not going to stop me from going where I got to go. I won't ever. Yeah, once you face fear, nothing can ever break you. But also, too, fear is a good thing to have because it lets you know that you need to be up on your game. There's something greater than you. That's what I think fear is, man. Fear is something that's greater than anybody, than everybody. Only thing fear can be greater than is the universe itself. You know what I'm saying? So that's what made Malcolm X a leader, man. This guy, it's not even close, like in terms of intellectual brilliance, man. Malcolm X, and I don't. A lot of people probably don't know this, but I can't stand President. I can't stand Obama. He's a piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. When he orchestrated the death of Gaddafi, the former president of Libya, I said, "Fuck you. You took a hero, man." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fear is the door that won't allow you to access the. Fear is the door that keeps you from accessing the door. Fear is it's true what you said, Juan. Fear is the door that will keep you from opening success. It's true. People will make coward decisions just to avoid avoid failing. The worst thing that can happen to you is not failing. The worst thing that can happen to you is not trying. So you can imagine a guy like Malcolm X saying, "You know what? I gotta try because I gotta leave something for the future. For the future. Future is me. Without Malcolm X, I don't get to do what I'm doing. I don't get to go to public bathrooms. I don't get to work at my job I work now as an African American man on the sales floor, and can't nobody roll up on me and start talking crazy. Then I gotta beat their ass. I mean, I'll beat their ass anyway, no matter what time era I was living in anyway. One, you can laugh. Everybody that knows me knows I don't play that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about foot to ass. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight ready to whoop somebody's ass. I got no problem. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's what made Malcolm X a leader, man. I'm not saying I ain't taking nobody over him. You know what I'm saying? The only person I take over him is probably my great grandfather Sanusi, and then maybe that's it, and maybe Jesu. That's it. And Jesu is Jesus for you idiots. It's not pronounced Jesus. It's pronounced Jesu. Jesu is from Africa, East Africa. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, those words are great, one. Now you've got to interject that into your life as well. It's good to use words, but we shouldn't use words we shouldn't use words that are actions that we're not gonna live. I'm gonna say that again. We shouldn't use words that are actions that we're not gonna live. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you use if you're gonna use certain words, then you need to live that action. You see what I'm saying? I'm not worried about being, and this is what I learned from Malcolm X, Tupac, Fela Kuti, any greats that have come before me. Yo, if I want to do something, just go do it, man. Because getting people's permission is not gonna fly. You know what I'm saying? That's what made Malcolm X a leader. He was a leader. Any room you put him in, automatic leader. I mean, he was in rooms where you had James Brown, oh my God, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, and he was still the leader. You know what I'm saying? You could put him. I swear to God, you could put Malcolm X in one room like this. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, Nelson Mandela, and Malcolm X would still be the leader. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you waiting on approval, boy. That's bad for business. You feel me? I know that sounds funny, but that's one thing I've learned. Me waiting on approval is bad for business. I know I gotta learn something in the art, so guess what I do? I go to school. Just so I can learn what I need to learn, so nobody can hinge me, keep me from my dream from pursuing forward. Y'all feel me? That's what made Malcolm X a leader, man. Now, let's go to the next phase. People's champ. He's both the people's champ and leader. But in order for you to become the people's champ, you gotta be a leader. Look, what made Malcolm X the people's champ is that Malcolm X spoke the words that people wanted to hear. He spoke our pain. He spoke our love for life. He spoke our need for dignity. He spoke our willingness to not take any you-know-what. Our willingness to sacrifice ourselves to get a better life for ourselves. Look, I'm going to give you an example, man. Watch this. This is more videos. Y'all don't understand. I got so many Malcolm X videos. It's not even funny. Y'all don't understand. Watch this. Another beautiful video. Malcolm X. Check this one out. You're going to like this one.
Then we're realizing that our problem in America, that we are black Americans, and we have a problem that goes beyond religion. We formed a group known as the Organization of Afro American Unity. And the objective of this organization is non-religious, number one. Any Negro can belong to it. And the objective of that organization is to bring about a condition that will guarantee respect and recognition of the 22 million black Americans as human beings. We feel that the problem, number one, of the black man in America is beyond America's ability to solve. It's a human problem, not an American problem or a Negro problem.
This is what's beautiful right here. Look, I got to show y'all this right here because I know I'll forget. Now, this is one of his, excuse me, y'all. Now, this right here is what made Malcolm X a people's champ. I got to play y'all this video right here, man, when he's giving he's giving a speech in a ballroom place. Oh, man, that place erupted, boy. It was wild.
The greatest weapon the white man...
Here we go. Watch this. Now I want y'all to hear this right here. Y'all definitely need to hear this. You definitely need to hear this.
The greatest weapon the white man has had has been his ability to divide and conquer. As Jackie Robinson pointed out beautifully on the television last night, 4/5 of the world isn't white. Isn't that what Jackie said? And if 4/5 of the world is dark, how is it possible for 1/5 to rule, oppress, exploit, dominate, and brutalize the 4/5 who are in the majority? How do they do it? Divide and conquer. If I take my hand and slap you, you don't even feel it. It might sting you because these digits are separated. But all I have to do to put you back in your place is bring those digits together.
Yeah, y'all see that? Now watch this. Oh, I ain't done. Let me show you another one. I got to show you another one, man. This one, I'm showing you all three. Why not? These are the videos. I got so many videos on Malcolm X. It's not even funny, man. Y'all don't understand.
Refusal to let the white man divide them and use them one against the other during this crisis. As Reverend Walford Wilson pointed out,
now that's a good one. That's a good one, Juan. That's definitely a good one when he's talking about that.
The desegregation decision. And despite the fact that 8 years have gone past, that decision hasn't been implemented yet. I don't have that much faith. I don't have that much confidence. I don't have that much patience. And I don't have that much ignorance to...
Man, that's a good one right there. Look, y'all, that's Malcolm X right there. Look, I got one more I got to show y'all. I got Malcolm X videos for days, y'all. Y'all don't understand. Malcolm X is, man, he's just that dude. Let me see. Let y'all see this one too.
If the Supreme Court, which is the highest law-making body in the country, can pass a decision that can't get even 8% compliance with in 8 years because it's for black people, then my patience has run out. When black people who are being oppressed become impatient, they say that's emotional. Please, when black people who are being deprived of their citizenship, not only of their civil rights, but their human rights, become impatient, become fed up, don't want to wait any longer, then they say that's emotional.
You see that? Y'all, that's what made Malcolm X the greatest, man. Them kind of speeches right there, boy. Ain't nobody else giving those kind of speeches. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying that stuff raw and uncut and how it is. There's no dancing around. There's no dancing around what was said. It's just what it is. It is what it is. It's unapologetic. That's what qualifies you as people's champ. You know when the last time we had anybody like Malcolm X like that? Tupac Amaru Shakur. And I've said this, and I ain't got no problem saying it. I say it every day when I say it. The last time the African American community had a leader was Tupac Amaru Shakur. When he took his last breath, we had no more leaders. Because the ones we got today are bitches. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. Those two are fucking thieves. His son is a fucking thief. I can't stand either one of them motherfuckers, boy. Those aren't leaders. Tupac, now that guy was a leader right there. You know what I'm saying? Last time we had one before him, that was probably we had Malcom X. So we're in 2025. Tupac left us in 1996. We've had 29 damn years of no leadership. That's some effed up shit right there. And you want to be better? Hell no. For you to be better, now, for example, that's the same thing that's happening in Africa right now. We just got Ibrahim Traore. He's changing Africa now. He's pulling us in the front. Meanwhile, what do you have? These old motherfuckers who are all 60, 70 years old who've been stealing from Africa don't like him. But we don't give a damn what you like, because guess what? We, the youth who are with him, don't give a damn what y'all think. We got two choices here, and I've been saying it. The only way to clean up Africa is to body these old motherfuckers, man. They got to go. If your ass ain't in the same mind thinking like Ibrahim Traore, Gaota, or Tchéni, you got to go. You got to go. We got to body your ass. You got to get up out of the paint, because you are wasting our time, wasting our resources. This is what made Malcolm X a people's champ, man. People love this guy. Are you kidding me? Malcolm X there's nothing that can touch this man. And that's why my mindset is the way it is. Like, he spoke on fatherhood, he spoke on economics, he spoke on self-empowerment, self-betterment, being intellectual, loving yourself, everything, being prideful, having dignity. What's wrong with all of that? And to top it all off, he was honorable. Not to mention he wasn't shitting on his wife everywhere in every city he went to. Nobody ever says that. Yes, Malcolm X was loyal to his wife, was honored his wife, didn't cheat on her left and right like Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, any dirt they could spray on Malcolm, they were going to spray it. You know what I'm saying? You can let him do whatever he was doing, but Malcolm who was actually an actual saint. The closest thing to a saint now, these civil rights activists we ever had was Malcolm X. He honored his word. You see what I'm saying? I remember when Martin Luther King was in jail, he went over there to Selma to go see him. He didn't have to go over there. And I believe that time when he went to go see him, when he spoke to Martin Luther King's wife, that's what changed everything. And so when they finally met, they could put aside their grievances, and then they could finally make a plan for the future. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's what makes a leader, man. A leader transforming to people's champion. You don't become the people's champion if you're not a leader. Nobody's following you, because we want to see that you have action to your words. And if you ain't got no action to your words, why are you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the last time we had a leader was Tupac Amora Shakur. I ain't seen one since, man. These motherfuckers aren't leaders. I don't give a damn what organization you come from. They're full of shit, man. All they do is run their mouth and talk about doing something. You know what I'm saying? He actually did something. So, yo, that's Malcolm X, man. You know what I'm saying? For me, the greatest without question of all time. Now, there's a segment I always talk about, and part of it is also too, part of why I'm able to talk about it is also too because of Malcolm X. Getting your mind right. You know, Malcolm X doesn't get where he gets to unless he gets his mind right. Guess where he got his mind right at? In jail. Reading all the books. Guess why the prison system doesn't allow a lot of people to read books anymore? Malcolm X. They don't want a bunch of Malcolm X's coming out of jail. See, religion gave Malcolm X structure. He was already disciplined, because he was disciplined before he went to jail. All those things he was doing, you have to be disciplined to do them. So when he got to jail, guess what happened? He got more disciplined. Now, which brings me to the getting your mind right segment, because this is something I always like talking about. Being healthy mentally, right? Nobody's as great as Malcolm X is if you don't become mentally healthy, which means you stop making bad choices. You better yourself. Like for me, mental health was me getting a therapist, dealing with my traumas and all that stuff, getting it out the way. That was important. It's just like, sometimes I got 1 people in my chat, sometimes I got 100, but I don't give a damn. Sometimes I put up a video, I got 10 views, and sometimes I got 555. It's just what it is. But none of that decides what I do. Once my last therapy session was in what do you call this thing? May 7th of this year, 2025. And I've taken everything I've learned from that path and put it into what I'm doing today. That's why I'm successful. That's why I can release my own comic book independently. Carjack Assassins Training Day. The first official Carjack Assassins comic book, man. Yes, I'm proud of this book. I published it. I copyrighted it. I created it, wrote it, did everything on it. You know what I mean? If I didn't have my mind right, y'all, I wouldn't do that. And y'all, let me tell you something. While I was creating that book, I was still in therapy. While I was creating that book, I was driving Uber Lyft. There was a lot of things I was getting better myself. It wasn't until 2023 I decided, you know what? I need to get some help, man. Y'all ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I ever told this story, but I drove from Texas all the way to Virginia just to get into therapy, just so I could start my life over again. That decision is what put me on the course to where I am today, to see the success I have today. You see what I'm saying? I was not in a good place with my father, man. I needed to roll out. I needed to roll out of that building because I was gonna do something dastardly, man. I was gonna do some serious harm to my father, boy. It was gonna be game over. That's how much I hated that man. But when I took that trip, I got in my car, y'all, 1,400 miles, 4 days of driving by myself. All I had was myself. Listen to music, every song I could hear. I went through all of my songs, man. And when I got to Virginia, I had a place to stay with my brother and his wife. I'll thank them always, every time, man. You know, for how they helped me were part of my healing journey. I honestly, y'all, if I didn't do therapy, it wouldn't help me to understand who I am today, or where I am, the peace that I have, the courage that I have, the person that I can become. You know what I'm saying? Those things really matter when it comes to you figuring out who you are, man. So if you are dealing with a lot of shit, if you have anxiety, you have trauma, please get the necessary help from the necessary right people. And I ain't talking about none of this bullshit you see on YouTube with these bullshit therapists. No, they're not therapists. They're just money makers. They don't care about you. They could care less about you. All they want you to be paid for another session. And therapy sessions are expensive for whatever reason I do not understand. But now companies are doing a better job of actually incorporating mental health into their things. Nowadays, you can get you a therapy session with any company you work for, at least 8 free sessions, maybe even 10, so that you can meet up with I did that when I started doing therapy with my job, the company I work for. I got the first 10 for free. Then after I was able to get lucky and get my health insurance allowed me to pay copay, which lowered my price. So it's good to get your mental health on, man. I'm in a different space, man. Different space. And what I've also noticed is that since I've gotten into this space, people are more intimidated by me because the way I act and talk. Forget my physical action. I'm not talking about using my hands. No, it's what I say. The way I move, the way I'm thinking. They're like, okay, this dude he's different. And let's be clear, ever since I came back from Africa, I've really been different. You know what I'm saying? Really, really been different. You know, I just wanted to better myself, evolve, man. That's why I am, man. So that's why I am today. So that's mental health. So please, if you need help, please go get it, man. It is out there available for you. And preferably, y'all, real talk, get you a private therapist. I'm talking about somebody that has their own practice. So don't be with no big company. If you've seen their commercials on TV, I kind of would avoid that. Just me personally. That means that they just in it for the money. You're just a ticket to them, and they want to just see how many subscribers they can get. I can't stand mental health therapists that are like that, man. And there's a lot of them out there, man. You got to get one that's on their own, doing their own, and doing it privately, man. Those are usually one-on-ones, and they actually give a damn about you. So, yo, and look, speaking of therapy, right? My journal, day number 830 today, September 4th. Well, we're in the 6th now, but, you know, look at this right there. Day number, September 5th. September 5th, day number 830, September 5th. You know what I'm saying? 2025, Friday. That's day number 830, y'all. That's damn near 2 years and maybe 1 month of writing a journal. And I still got journal. And guess what I got in line, in total? This is journal number 9, right? Guess what I got here? Journal number 10. Oh, yeah. I'm going to keep going with it, man. The greatest gift you can give yourself is self-healing. So, y'all, that's where I'm at with it, man. You know what I mean? That is where I'm at with it. So now last but not least, final thoughts, man. And thank you all of y'all for joining the chat, joining the podcast tonight. Welcome to another episode of Sanusi Vision Art Life, episode number 223, Malcom X, The X Factor. Yes, today was about Malcom X, the greatest civil rights activist of all time. And thank all of y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for interacting with the line. Thank y'all for the likes. If you haven't yet subscribed or hit the notification button, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm always on here every week. Once a week, I got my episodes on Vision Podcast. And then once a week also, too, I got my podcast, Cultural Capitalist Podcast with my boy, Kimba, a.k.a. The Colonel. And we talk about all kinds of Africa stuff, like appropriation, reparations, all kinds of cool stuff, independence, and all that beautiful stuff, man. Yes, I love being Nigerian. I love being African, most of all. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, that's final thoughts, Malcom X. Malcom X is, like I said, is the greatest civil rights activist, as far as I'm concerned, ever. His origins, coming from lonely Nebraska, his father being murdered, assassinated by the Ku Klux Klan. His mother being made to go crazy so they could take the children from her, and then his mother ends up in a home and she dies. Malcolm and his youngest and his siblings being divided from each other. You know what I'm saying? It was like this need to just break up the African American family. So he comes from a broken home. He's broken. He goes into jail. He comes out of jail. He builds himself into Malcolm X. He joins the Nation of Islam. It doesn't get any better. Malcolm X is the perfect definition of rehabilitation. But he wasn't rehabilitated. I don't like to use the word rehabilitate with Malcolm X. I like to use the word revitalized, which means made over again into what you can become. Let me tell y'all something. Whoever you are out there, all those who are listening right now, forget rehabilitation. You need to revitalize yourself. You see what I'm saying? When you revitalize yourself, you become the greatest version of yourself. I'm going to say that again, y'all. You need to revitalize yourself. When you do that, you become the greatest version of yourself. That's how we get Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get Malcolm X. Tony, man, I don't give a damn what you think. If you can't afford my shoes, take your broke ass to Walmart. I'm not for Walmart. All you people that like whining about my price, what makes you think I give a damn what you think? You know how hard I work to create what I create? You know how many hours it takes? That's why I love being on YouTube, because when you say something stupid, I can just go off on your ass. Like, keep that kind of bullshit to yourself. Now, back to the great Malcolm X. That was really funny. Now, look. Him being his origins, and him being the revolutionary, the intellect, the understanding that, okay, this is what we're going to need to have to change America. And then America being afraid of him. That's probably what I love most about Malcolm X, that America was afraid of him. Even speaking his name today, they still got fear. Still got fear. God, I love that dude. Man. And then, of course, he's a futurist. Malcolm X always saw, what can we plan for the future, for the children, the youth? Everybody don't think like that, man. All these punk-ass leaders that we got today, especially in the African American community, they're a bunch of bitches. They're not leaders. They're money-hungry, stealing thieves. Let me tell y'all something. Whenever you see an African American community leader walking with a white boy in your neighborhood, y'all about to get gentrified. What you need to do next is get rid of that piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because he done sold your community. And then he's going to take your money. He's talking black, but he's dumping the money in white banks. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that shit infuriates the hell out of me. I do not trust African American leaders that walk with white boys in my neighborhood. Oh no, you done sold my shit. All of it. It's a matter of time before they tell me that I need to get up out the paint, get up out the neighborhood. Now you gentrify me out of my neighborhood I've been living in for 40 plus years. You know what I'm saying? That's what made Malcolm X a futurist, man. He always saw. He never let these bitch ass, crooked coon leaders who were in the African American community get away with it. He was quick to light their ass up. I love that about him. And then of course, him being a leader. Those kind of things is what I'm saying is what makes him a leader. A leader is the person who tells you how it is, not how you want it to be. It's terrible. Like, how you gonna have somebody be a leader and you can't tell people the truth? And when you ain't telling people the truth, how the hell you gonna be the people's champion? That ain't gonna happen. Hell to the no. You know what I'm saying? So yo, that's where it's at, man. You know, Malcolm X, the great Malcolm X, man. These are amazing things. So now look, before I get up out of here, right? I'm always showing you all the cool stuff that I got. And nothing is more cooler than this comic book that I'm about to show you right now. Project for Assassins Training Day. So get all your friends. Make sure you share the stream right now. All right? Because this is the first podcast episode that I've unveiled the Cardiac Assassins Training Day comic book. Let me let you look at it real good. Look at this bad boy right here, boy. You ain't gonna believe this, but this is my paid for copy. I bought my own comic book. That's how great this comic book is. And the people I've sold it to, they're like, whoa, I was not expecting this. This is next level stuff. Yeah, I put in work on this, man. 9 years of creating this book, y'all. 9 years. Let me say that again. 9 years of creating this amazing book. Cardiac Assassins Training Day. This book is all that on a bag of chips. Look at the front. You got the heroes, the carjacks. You got the villains, the assassins. You got the heroes, Sincere, Diesel, Glocks, Cajun, Escalade, Shepherd, Sphinx, and then Rasputin. And then you got the villains, Kanji, Yukon, Snipes, Artillery, Sun Tzu, Excursion, Seth, Revo. Yo, when you create a book like this, man, it's game over, y'all. Game over. So if you're a fan of comics, you got to go get you a copy of this right here. Cardiac Assassins Training Day. That's right. Cardiac Assassins Training Day, my first official comic book. And look, let me flip it to the back. Look at the back, man. So visit SanusiVision.com. And look, I've been copying the link into the chat. I'm going to copy it back into the chat again. So if you're a big fan of comics, you definitely go get you one of these right here on my website. So you can add it to your arsenal. Your collection of comics, you want to get this right here, man. You want to get this right here. Believe me, it's a big game reader. You know what I'm saying? Cardiac Assassins Training Day, man. And look, I'm gonna show you a little snippet because I ain't trying to show you too much. Look at this right here. There you go. Look at this right here. That's the inside of it. I'm only showing you one page, y'all. But Cardiac Assassins Training Day comic book, man. You gotta go get you a copy. Available now on nationalist.com. Now let me show you more stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not even gonna bother panning the camera. Thank y'all for joining me, man. Appreciate all of y'all. Look, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, and definitely hit the notification button. Now look, watch this, y'all. I'm about to show you some. We're gonna do this. Give me a second. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this in a way that makes sense. Y'all give me a second. I'm gonna organize my place. Make this look a little bit better. Okay, look. So look, I'm gonna show y'all some art, right? I'm gonna show you some art. Cardiac Assassin specifically to honor Cardiac Assassin universe. And then I'm gonna show you some sneakers. Then I'm gonna show you some apparel. Then we're gonna get back to the comic book, and then we're gonna get up out of here. Look at it, check this out. Cardiac Assassins, right? Posters. If you're a fan of my characters, look at this. Cardiac Assassin posters. You gotta go get you one of these right here. All these characters part of the Cardiac Assassin universe. These are about to get replaced, man, because I got the new ones coming through. You know what I'm saying? I got the new ones coming through, y'all. New ones coming through, man. Look at this. Cardiac Assassin universe right here. Available now on nationalist.com. Oh yeah, we gotta do this, man. Yep, yes sir. Cardiac Assassin Training Day. I feel like I'm paying homage to Malcom X because I'm drawing characters that look like us. Straight chocolate all day long. Look at this, man. You know what I'm saying? And these characters don't even look like this no more. You know what I'm saying? Look, they don't look nothing like this no more. This is next level stuff, y'all. Look at this. Man, I can't wait to do this. Look at this. Posters, man. You gotta love the posters, man. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is straight beautiful. Look at this. Man. And coyotes. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, that's posters. And then look. Sneakers. Y'all see this? Low tops, high tops. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're doing over here at Sanusi Vision. Don't worry. Saturday is sneaker day. So I'll be back to show y'all more stuff. Look at this. Cardiac Assassins, Iron Man Batas low tops. Cardiac Assassins women's wedges. Cardiac Assassins kids sneakers. Blade versus look at this. This is next level stuff, y'all. You see that? All these available on nationalist.com. Look at that. Batas Sport 2s. Black Panther Batas Sport 2s. And then you got Cardiac Assassins kids sneakers right here. Man, this is next level stuff, y'all. This is beautiful. Then you got Iron Man. You got wedge sneakers right here for ladies. And then you got Blade, Iron Man. Right there. Man, so it's beautiful work, y'all. And look, apparel. Man, look, I'm not even messing around. Look at this. This is cool custom gear. Cool custom gear, man. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the men's apparel. Look at this. This is what we're doing over here at Sanusi Vision, man. Look at this. This is so cool. Look. The best thing I ever did was buy myself a mannequin. Best thing I ever did, y'all, was buy myself a mannequin. Look at me. I'm able to showcase my clothing. Man, this is the next level stuff. This is one of the characters from the Cardiac Assassin universe, y'all. Look at this thing, man. So that's the men's gear, t-shirts and sweatpants, man. Then, of course, you've already seen the women's gear. T-shirts and sweatpants. That's right. Your boy doing this doggone thing, man. I am proud of myself. So t-shirts and sport leggings for the ladies, y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? So that's everything right there, man, that your boy doing. So right here. Man, yeah, appreciate all of y'all joining the chat. Thank y'all for the likes, man. Make sure y'all hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification. But yo, that's our show for today, man. Look, I want to thank all of y'all. And look, if you love apparel, if you love t-shirts, guess what I got on? The official t-shirt for Cardiac Assassins Training Day comic book. Right here. You see this? Look at this thing right here. This is next level t-shirt, y'all. This t-shirt is sweet. New material, y'all. I ain't playing. Go to nationalist.com and get your order on and join the movement, y'all. Trust me, you want to get you one of these t-shirts right here. Available on nationalist.com. So, y'all, that's our show for tonight, man. I want to thank all of y'all for joining me. Before we get up out of here, we got to thank our sponsors. Thank our sponsors. This Vision podcast is brought to you by Homeland Fashions. home of authentic African fashion and accessories from the motherland, y'all. From the motherland, I say from the motherland, y'all. I'm Nigerian, baby. You know I gotta rep it. Man, look at this beautiful thing. And also, too, this Salvation Podcast is brought to you by Tigler. If you need executive services from plumbers to pediatricians and everything in between, search Tigler. Don't wait, that's Tigler.com, y'all. And this podcast is also brought to you by Anadel for the Nanko. Don't live with foot pain. Like Anadel for the Nanko, make your feet happy again. That's AnadelCenter.com for details, y'all. That's AnadelCenter.com for details, y'all. Y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me tonight, man. I really so much appreciate y'all. We talked about Malcom X, the great Malcom X, the X factor that he was, he still is. His words still reign through history right now. We as intellectuals, those who are free and conscious, know that he was a leader, and his words can help us to elevate ourselves. So look, if you're a Malcom X fan, and I know there's a bunch of y'all out there, handle your business. And don't worry, I got another video I'm gonna show y'all. It's gonna be the last thing we end the show with when I show you the video. Look, all of y'all in the chat right now, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe button, and definitely hit the notification button, y'all. Thank y'all so much. So look, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for listening, man. This podcast is produced, written, and directed by yours truly, Adewale Boke Jr. Please check out my website at sanusivision.com for all the cool stuff that I got. And man, there's a bunch of cool stuff on my website. Look, I'm telling you, if y'all didn't think my stuff was cool, y'all wouldn't be here right now. So hit that like buttons. Let's get them likes up. Now, I mean, I really appreciate y'all joining me tonight, man. Get them likes up. You know what I'm saying? The podcast, the Sanusi Vision website, sanusivision.com, is such a cool website, man. All kinds of art, bucket hats, cool custom t-shirts. And look, y'all, just to show y'all, look, I want to make sure y'all, let me show y'all the website so y'all know what's up. I want you to know, look, let me do, you've seen the comic book, but look at the comic book on the website, right? Look at it. You see what I'm saying? So let me put all the weekly superstars so you can see everything that's to do. Everything to do with Carja of Assassin's Universe is on the website right now. The comic book. You see what I'm saying? Carja of Assassins Training Day, the comic book. Carja of Assassins Training Day poster. Carja of Assassins men's t-shirt. Carja of Assassins women's t-shirt. Carja of Assassins Training Day comic book t-shirt. And then, of course, you got the Carja of Assassins sneakers right there. Oh, y'all didn't know, huh? Don't worry, I got hoodies and all kinds of stuff coming through, man. You know what I mean? But, yo, that's what your boy doing, man. So visit sanusivision.com, y'all, and get your order on. And also, please, subscribe to our channel at our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We're just trying to get to 1,200 subscribers, y'all. 1,200. I'm at 1,160. The goal was to try to get to 2,000 by the end of this year. I don't know if that's still possible, but hopefully 1,200 is possible. You know what I'm saying? So can we hit the like, hit the subscribe, and definitely hit the notification button whenever y'all join. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man, so you can check out all the cool stuff. And look, please check me out on all of my social media platforms. And every newest episode of my Sanusi Vision podcast is also on Sanusi Vision. And you want to be there because I've also got my podcast with my boy, Capital Cultural Podcast with my homeboy, Kimba, a.k.a. The Colonel. You know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all show up, man. And please, follow me on my social media platforms. We got YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, X, and Instagram. Yeah, I know. TikTok and YouTube are the only ones worth a damn. But you know the other ones are still there. YouTube is still there. Facebook is still there. Instagram is still there. X is still there. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the primary two are TikTok and YouTube. I definitely love those two platforms. Like, I can do a lot more. Going live on those platforms is beautiful, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And then also, too, make sure you, and as an artist, and I'm going to say this again to artists, because I'm tired of artists whining and crying. Look, if you're an artist, you got the advantage. Use social media. It is available to you. Free. Post. Don't be lazy. Get your ass up and actually post a video and stop whining and waiting for somebody to come save you. Only thing I can't stand is an artist that sits on their ass. I can't stand them. Because they're always the type that's whining and bitching about stuff that they owe. Don't nobody owe you shit. I don't care what type of art you're doing. Sculpture, animation, painting, drawing, whatever. Promote your shit on TikTok, YouTube. They're available there. If you need to go on Facebook, go right ahead. But promote it on social media and stop whining about what you are owed. Don't nobody owe you shit. You earn your keep up in this mug. Y'all feel me? Yo, and please, don't forget to review us. Rate us. Give us a 5-star, don't be a hater. You know what I'm saying? As always, y'all, continue to aspire and achieve. Now, let me show you this video. Continue to aspire and achieve. Have a great week. Stay safe, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say peace. I'm going to wait till I show you the Malcom X video. Then I'm going to say peace. Now, here we go. This is how we going out like this, y'all. Wait till I transform it. Give me a second. Then I'm going to hold my comic book in my hand, too. Because you know I got to do that right there. Oh, y'all going to love this video. Oh, y'all going to love this video. Yes, sir. The great Malcom X, baby. The great Malcom X. Here we go.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Man, don't y'all love that? That's my favorite Malcom X video, boy. I love it. I can't help myself when I watch that video, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, like Malcom X said, continue to aspire and achieve. You know what I'm saying? Believe in yourself. By any means is necessary. Stay safe. Don't let nobody hinder your growth. Be your own plants. Be your own water. Be your own seed. Be your own fertilizer. Believe in yourself. Continue to aspire and achieve. Never give up on your dreams, y'all. And as always, there's two things I always end with. One, there's no success in skipping steps. The back of the line is just as important as the front of the line. Be determined and not desperate. And then the second one, your dreams can be delayed but must never be extinguished. So wait your time while the universe delivers you the right hand. Be determined, not desperate. Y'all have been amazing. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. Today was about the great Malcom X. I enjoyed every single moment of it. I loved it. I loved it. And I loved it some more. Y'all was amazing, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for supporting me. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe. If you haven't already hit the notification button, hit the notification button. I'll be back tomorrow again. Because guess what? Tomorrow is sneaker and t-shirt day. Oh yeah, sneaker and apparel day, baby. You know I got to get down with that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be double duties. I'll be doing TikTok and YouTube at the same time. I go live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time now. You know what I'm saying? I can't be bothered to go back to back. Forget that. I just go live at the same time. You know, feel me? So y'all, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being part of the chat tonight. Continue to aspire and achieve. Stay safe, y'all. Peace. Oh yeah, and don't forget to get my Carjack for Assassins Training Day comic book available now on SanusiVision.com. Peace.